ICENET. Dynasties live here.
They played an extremely physical series that year and won. So maybe they feel that that's the best approach to take in the playoffs.
But I think the Islanders... Benjamin and Persson on the point. Persson got a hard hit from Maloney. It's cleared it to center, down into the lead zone. Serra out of the goal. The left side to Maloney. And Maloney dumped a drink wide into center for 5. Ahead for DeLego, got over the line, shot one wide of the goal, and Billy Smith covers up in the puck as it came off the boards. Maloney leveled a pretty good check on Persson after he had made the play. Rather surprised. I didn't think Toronto would come out under Nicolak as a hitting hockey club.
Obviously, they remember the series. It's 7 games that Toronto beat the Islanders, and they played an extremely physical series that year and won. So maybe they feel that that's the best approach to take in the playoffs.
But I think the Islanders are by far a more physical club now than they were in '78. Way underway, and the puck in that Islander goal mouth cleared aside by Smith. This is Marini. After at center, fired one in. From off the boards. Here's Gillies with a shot, and he ripped it high off the glass and into the crowd.
Clark Gillies shot. He ripped it hard. Tried to put a little extra on the shot, as playoffs generally demand a little extra from everybody. The shot high over the left side of the net, hitting the glass into the seats. Toronto, first shift, good pressure on the Islanders. Good hustle by Hector Marini. Brought the puck into Toronto's end. That's how Clark Gillies got his shot away.
Now it's Nystrom with Merrick and Howitt for the Islanders. Potvin and Morrow together on defense. Lee Potvin shooting it into the Toronto zone. That's Ferris going after it. The blue line, Morrow held it in. Ends up back of the goal, and the Leafs trying to play it out on the right side. Potvin pinching in. Now here's Merrick at the line. Potvin. As Potvin had to bring it back into the center ice area. Moves out of the net to cut it off. Howitt chasing it, not in time. Paymont bumped by Merrick, and here's Potvin with a shot. Off the defense, came loose. Merrick with it again. Wayne Merrick to Howitt. Howitt tried to center one that hit Perry. Nystrom turns in the corner. Now back to Morrow. Down to Nystrom to Merrick. Merrick looks for the man in front, centers. Howitt couldn't get his full stick on it. Nystrom in to take over. Played it around behind the net. Play is called. We're going to have a penalty, an elbowing call against Darryl Sittler of the Leafs. There's a break in the action. Islanders go to the power play to score. New York Islanders nothing. Toronto Maple Leafs nothing.
First penalty of the game goes to Darryl Sittler, an elbowing penalty on Bob Nystrom. Gives the Islanders the first power play opportunity of the new playoffs.
It's Bourne feeding it at least to Persson. Back to Bourne. Now to Persson. Over to Bourne. Bourne a drive. Blocked in front as he came off the goaltender. Bourne again to Persson. Stepping in along the boards. Bourne to Trottier. To Persson. There's Trottier back of the net. Ryan Trottier in front to Posse, and his shot hits Serra. It's way up in the air and over the glass into the crowd. A minute 31 left in this power play.
Ron Zanussi, the penalty killer, moved in quickly down the boards. Mike McEwen, who is on the power play with Stepan Pearson, as Dennis Potvin replaces McEwen. Pass by Trottier, shot by Bossy. A pattern move the two of them have used for the past 4 years. Generally successfully. This time, Sirha made the save.
Salming has just fired it around the boards into the Islander zone. Billy Smith, the Pearson is out with Potvin now. Trottier, Bourne, and Bossy up front. Ryan Trottier turning it away from Boschman. Boschman and Zanussi, the forwards for the Leafs, as Trottier comes to center. Shot it in away from Zanussi. Serha dumped it around the board. Pearson from the blue line takes it back of the net to Potvin. Dennis takes a look. Centered, that was cut off by Boschman. It's loose at the side of the goal. Bossy with it in the corner. Mike Bossy falling back on his skates. To the blue line to Pearson. Over to Potvin on the left side. To Pearson. Step and a drive. That went wide. The rebound loose in front. And Bourne couldn't make contact with it. The Leafs have iced it. 40 seconds left in the penalty to Sittler.
Zanussi again making a good move as he checked Bourne from behind as Bourne was ready to tee it up and put it in the open net.
Trottier sends Bourne over the line. Laid it around behind the net. Bossy with it. Let it go for Denny Potvin in the far corner. Potvin bumped by Turnbull. And René Robert for Toronto forces the Islanders to go back. Time for one more rush on this power play. Pearson has trouble getting up from behind his own goal, and there's going to be a penalty. And a holding call here. Pearson and Hickey got tied up back of the net.
I don't think they realize there's going to be a penalty. A break in the action with the score of the New York Islanders, nothing. The Toronto Maple Leafs, nothing. 10 seconds remaining on the penalty to Sittler. Pearson of the Islanders has now got a holding penalty.
Angelin trying to clear it out of there. Picks it up again, back of the net. Five and Derlego up front for the Leafs. It's scoring with Billy Carroll. Salming from the blue line. Smith in front to make the save as Five tipped it.
Billy Smith getting up a little slow as Salming shot from the point. Smith is down on his two knees. That exposes the tops of his leg just above the knees. As we see number 21, Gloria Salming shot. Billy Smith is already on his haunches. He's down, and that puck hit him just above the kneecap where it's exposed. His pad's laying flat on the ice. The puck hits him there. That's a sore spot. Smith seems to be all right.
Toronto now playing 6 against 5. Robert, a shot right on. Smith the save, covers up on the rebound. It's underneath Langevin as Derlego was slapping at it.
Close call. Rick Vaive in front of the net. He's number 22 along with number 19, Bill Derlego, as the Toronto Maple Leafs put pressure quickly. Maloney, Dan Maloney, number 9, shot from the point. Smith made a save on that shot. Made a save on the rebound. As we look at that last action, good save there by Billy Smith. Look where he is. He's back on his feet. As Rick Vaive takes a shot, number 19, and Smith makes a save on he also.
Islanders got control of the puck following the face-off. Kenny Morrow shooting at the length of the ice. Minute 26 left in the penalty against Pearson as Toronto starts the power play deep in their own zone. Robert, who was acquired late this season from Colorado, gives it to Salming. Out to center ice to Maloney. Rink wide to Derlego. Got in over the line to Vaive on the right side. Vaive a shot. That just went wide of the net. Here's Maloney. Maloney trying to center one, went off some skates. Trottier unable to pick it up. Derlego for the Leafs. Played it off Morrow and up into the crowd. Exactly a minute left in the penalty time against Pearson.
Billy Smith has won his last 2 games, has not lost in his last 11. Good concentration here early in this power play by Toronto. One of the signs of Billy Smith's concentration is when he stands up, makes the save, stays on his feet, or if he's down, gets up very quickly. Players all around the crease, actually in the crease. He did not make any offensive gestures toward them with his stick or gloves. Another good sign.
The Islanders scored 93 power play goals. Toronto had 85. Here's Trottier to Bourne now as the Islanders broke up the Leaf play, and Bourne fires it in shoulder high. Serha around to Settlebauer, poked away from him. It's Billy Carroll to Potvin. In front to Bourne, his backhander, and the goaltender Serha got in front of it. They're out in front of the goal to the right side for Sittler. To Settlebauer across the Islander line, bumped on the boards by Morrow. Here's Potvin with the back of the net. Denny Potvin to the blue line and hopped off the stick of Robert. Robert waiting for Paymont to get back onside. Paymont dumps it into the corner. Sittler, Settlebauer, and Paymont the forward line, and it's Potvin for the Islanders, clearing it out. Carroll into center ice. Billy Carroll 2-on-1 with Goring. Carroll moving in to Goring. Shoots. Sirha the save. The rebound and the score. Leafs put it into their own goal. Billy Carroll was there. And the Islanders get a short-handed goal to jump in front.
Billy Carroll was the last Islander to shoot the puck. Ian Turnbull, number 2 of the Toronto Maple Leafs, makes a mistake. He could have gotten to the puck as Billy Carroll, 25, takes it down. Turnbull deflects it. Goring takes a shot, save, good save by Sirha. And then you're right, Jiggs McDonald, as Toronto tried to clear the puck. Number 7, Rocky Saganuk, put it in his own net. Goring shot, good save by Sirha. He's up quick. And then Saganuk, in trying to clear the puck, put it right between the legs of Sirha, the place that Butch Goring could not put it. The Islanders. So the Islanders get a 1-0 lead. Short-handed goal for the New York Islanders. Kind of an odd kind of goal to have scored here in the first period.
Pat Hickey just shot the puck into the crowd behind the Islander goal. Persson is just out of the penalty box. So the teams are back at 6 aside. The minor officials working tonight's game, the goal judges, penalty timekeepers, are from Hartford.
Mistakes, they can be costly. A costly mistake by the Toronto Maple Leafs on a power play allow the New York Islanders to get a goal. Good hustle, Billy Carroll, busting out through the center ice area, took the puck that Ian Turnbull, number 2 for the Toronto Maple Leafs, could have easily skated out and knocked away. He hesitated. That's all that Carroll needed. He jumped on the puck. Goring was down the right wing side quickly. Turnbull was back. He actually broke up the play, Jakes. Turnbull got a stick on it. Goring got a good shot away. Sirha made his best save. So we look at that again. There's Billy Carroll. That's Turnbull that touched the puck. That's the save by Sirha off Butch Goring. And then, boom, Toronto puts the puck into its own net.
Billy Carroll, credit for the goal from Goring and Potvin at 5:27. There was some discussion about the penalty time, but it had elapsed just barely as the Islanders dumped the puck in. It came off the boards right in front. Trache shot it wide. This is Pat Hickey for the Leafs. McEwen will pick that up at center ice. To the left side to Bossy, but deflected off Sanusi into the crowd behind the penalty box. There's a break in the action with the score. New York Islanders 1, Toronto Maple Leafs no score.
It was a short-handed goal, Jiggs McDonald. There was still 7 seconds remaining on Stefan Pearson's penalty. Possibly Stefan came out of the box when the goal was scored.
No, he waited. It was a matter of the clock stopping 1 second prior to the time when he was supposed to have come out. But they let them get away with it. I think the clock at the bench indicated it was time. The clock up top did not. Just
what timekeepers have a stopwatch, which is the official time on the bench. What we look at is close. Semi.
Trache to Bossy, shoots. Sirha the save. Bossy centers on the doorstep. Ball cleared just wide by Trache. Now out on the right side, and the Leafs have dumped it into center. Sanusi forcing the Islanders back. Lorimer over to McEwen, up the left side to Trache, across the line with Tonelli playing the left wing. Don Tonelli, center, but it went behind Bossy. That's Poloni, number 9 for the Leafs. Miroslav Duras into center ice. The play broken up there. Trache to McEwen. He forces the Leafs to go back. Sirha cutting it off for his defenseman, Ian Turnbull. Turnbull around to the right side to 5 into center ice for Derlego. Derlego shoots from the line, and that went wide. Wide, bumped by Langevin in his pursuit of the puck and ended up in the mesh. So we're going to face off outside the New York Islander blue line.
Toronto had stated that they were going to try and have Borja Salming on the ice whenever Trache, Bossy, and whoever is playing the left side were on the ice, which they did do that time. John Tonelli came very close to getting a goal as he was checked right in front of Sirha by number 24, Vladislav Duras.
It's Goring at center, Marini on the right, Gillies on the left side. Langevin back for the Islanders. That's Persson now to the right side for Marini, picked up and turned by Goring. He gave it to Langevin. Langevin checked in over the line is by, but he hadn't waited long enough for Dan Maloney to get back onside. Maloney was injured the last time the two teams met.
Big Dan Maloney played for the Chicago Blackhawks at one time.
Stint with Detroit, Los Angeles in his career as well. A lot of this Toronto team came via Vancouver as we look at Vive and Derlego, along with Maloney, and of course recently Toronto picked up Settlebauer, who had been in Chicago after a deal from Vancouver. The Leafs have shot it down into the Islanders zone. It's playable. Billy Smith left it for Persson. Stefan Persson. Derlego in forechecking. Persson gives it to Langevin. Langevin is checked. Here's Derlego to Vive. Shoots. Smith makes the glove save. Leafs will pounce on a mistake or an error, just as the Islanders will, and they got a chance there.
Billy Smith, standing tall in the net, made the save. Dave Langevin is checked by 22, Rick Vive, and Vive skates in. It's a bad angle shot. Billy Smith knows it. He's got the angle nailed down. And number 22, Vive hit him with the puck. Billy caught it, held it. That's the stoppage of play.
12 minutes, 4 seconds left in the opening period. Islanders up 1-0 on a shorthanded goal. Langevin to Persson. Stefan at the blue line. His pass was deflected into center ice. The Leafs control it there. Turnbull playing it to the open wing. Langevin gets back before it crosses the goal line, they rule. Around to the right side to Marini. Marini to Goring. Couldn't pick up the pass. Here's Barry Melrose for the Leafs. He's another newcomer this season. Lost it to Morrow. Morrow shooting it into the Toronto zone. Islanders in the middle of a player change as the Leafs try to come out on the right side. Barry Melrose to Turnbull. Turnbull shot it in from center ice. It cuts it off with Denny Potvin. Up the left wing it goes to Howitt. Relays it to center, but Shand is out for the Leafs. Over to Turnbull. Turnbull handed it right to Howitt. Howitt checked by Shand. Al Sittler for the Leafs. Sittler over to Terry Martin. Martin a shot, Smith the save, and he covers up and holds on. There's a break in the action with the score. New York Islanders 1, Toronto Maple Leafs no score.
An out-of-town score quickly, 2-1 Minnesota over Boston at the end of the first period. Payne and Ciccarelli for Minnesota, Marcotte for the Bruins.
And that is at the Boston Garden, where Minnesota has never won a game.
Right, they have never won a hockey game.
Now Denny Potvin to Merrick, up the right wing to Nystrom. Nystrom shooting, Serha the save, and Sittler is there for the rebound. It came loose. Howitt with it. To Nystrom, Sittler on top of him in the corner. Merrick in forechecking, trying to knock it away from Derlego. Sittler with a stick on it. So Terry Martin. Morrow on top of him. The puck goes loose. Dave Perry surrounded David Shand. Shand, the Toronto defenseman, gives it to Sittler. Into center ice for Martin. Martin across the line, trying to come in around Morrow. Weak shot, that went wide of the net. Martin to Paymont, back of the goal. Paymont centered, cleared by Wayne Merrick to the right wing for Nystrom. Out of Merrick, picked up by Howitt. 3 Leafs back as Howitt fed it to Merrick, to Potvin. Dennis over the line, trying to go in around Shand. Centered one, and it got away from everybody. Comes out into center, but play has been called.
Too many men on the ice. Possibly a linesman making the call.
Absolutely. Toronto with 7 men on the ice. And linesman Ron Finn picked it up.
Ron Finn making that call, which he is supposed to do. Toronto had 6 skaters on the pond. That's a no-no.
Bench minor for too many men on the ice.
Nicola, a look of disgust.
46.
That's a no-no.
Bench minor on the Toronto.
That's a communication breakdown that could be very costly. Toronto caught with too many men on the ice. As Dennis Potvin had carried the puck into the Toronto end, made a play in front. Bob Nystrom was cruising in from the right wing position, checked at the last moment by Parrish. Good opportunity. The Islanders have had several good opportunities. Serha has looked good for Toronto.
Matt Hickey will serve the penalty. Boschman on this face-off against Trottier, who's out with Bourne, and Bossy. Bossy centered one in front that was deflected and comes out into the center ice zone. Stefan Persson to Denny Potvin. Potvin takes the turn, comes to center ice. Now to Persson, breaks in over the line around Boschman. Persson in the corner, looks for a man in front. Stefan into the face-off circle, back to the blue line to Potvin. Dennis lets it go, and that went wide. It came off Bossy's stick. Bossy picks it up, shoots it, and went wide of the goal. Persson, the Bourne. Bourne at the blue line, into Potvin. Dennis back to Bob Bourne. Bourne over to Persson. Right wide to Bourne. Bourne, a drive. That one off the stick and wide. Potvin picks it up in the far corner. Dennis in deep as Bourne covers for him at the point. Potvin shot, knocked down in front. Bossy picks it up. Mike Bossy turning. Back to the blue line to Persson. Persson to Bossy. Bossy back to the point for Potvin. Dennis a drive. Serra kicks that aside. Less than a minute remaining in the power play. Persson to Bossy. It was broken up and goes into the crowd. And play has been called. 53 seconds left in the lead penalty.
Toronto holding their positions well, killing off the penalty. Boschman 12, 32, Zanussi. As we see Pat Hickey leaning out of the penalty box. He's serving the penalty. Too many men on the ice. 53 seconds remaining in that penalty. Sirha, again, has looked sharp.
Scoring with Marini and Gillies now the forward line for the Islanders. Sittler will take the faceoff for Toronto. It's Mike McEwen and Denny Potvin at the blue line. The puck cleared to the boards, picked up by Marini. Back of the net to Goring. Goring looks for Gillies, centers, and Gillies' shot just went wide. Now Marini playing it around to the blue line for Potvin, who comes in after it. Denny Potvin turns, goes in, shoots there on his knees, made the save. Yuri Serra has been sharp. He had been shaken up in the game in Quebec City on Sunday night when one of the Nordiques ran over top of him. There was some speculation that Bunny Larocque would play tonight, but the Czech goaltender is between the pipes for the Leafs.
Good move by Dennis Potvin off the boards, getting the shot on net.
Now the Leafs. Turnbull slapped it around the boards, came off Potvin out into the center ice zone. Dennis recovers just in time to knock it away from Sittler. Now Marini over the line to Goring. Shooting! Serra got in front of that. Gillies with a shot. He scores! Gillies took it away from the defenseman. Let it go quickly, and the Islanders lead 2-0.
Ian Turnbull, the culprit again. That's twice now the Islanders have taken advantage of Ian Turnbull's mistakes. He's number 2, a left defenseman. Gillies, as Turnbull knocked the puck down, went to get the puck. Turnbull did. Gillies kind of slapped at it. This started the play. Goring's shot saved by Sirha. The puck bounces. Turnbull could not recover the rebound as he should have. Gillies moved in very quickly and slapped the puck to the right of Yuri Sirha. Big goal for the Islanders. They lead 2-0.
Islanders goal scored by number 9,
With the Leafs short-handed. Gillies at 11:26.
The assist to number 91, Bush Goring, and number 29, Hector Marini.
Goring with a pair of assists. Marini draws one on that goal as well.
That's Gillies.
Marini holding the puck in at the Leafs line, played it to the corner. Shand is there. Comes out to center ice, picked up by Vive. Vive over the line, shooting. Smith turned that aside. Maloney with the rebound. Couldn't center it. Persson fed it to the line. Leafs able to hold it in. It's Parrish who got it to the corner. Now Persson around to the left side. Tonelli check. Derlego went to center one. That's cleared aside. Comes to the corner again. Maloney and Tonelli collide heavily. Langevin with the puck. Bothered by Maloney. Persson will pick it up back of the goal. Persson in front to Carroll. Played it up the left wing. John Tonelli into center ice. Tonelli back to Carroll. Cuts to the right. Over the Leaf line. Was upended. Back come the Maple Leafs. At center ice, Derlego unable to go anywhere, and Bossy comes in over the line. A blazing shot. Oh, and it just went off the goaltender and off the post as well. Oh, Bossy got everything behind that one. Now Robert checked at center. McEwen feeding it ahead for John Tonelli. Tonelli over to Lorimer. He's at center, across the Leaf line. Lorimer into the corner. Around the check of Duras. The puck loose. McEwen after it on the boards. Back of the net for Trottier. Trottier to Bossy. Checked at the last second by Duras. Coming out for the Leafs. Boschman at center. Got it to Robert. Robert into the Islanders zone. Shot one wide. Hickey bumps into Gillies, and Bossy picks up the puck. We'll have an interference penalty. Clark Gillies is going to get the gate. There's a break in the action with the score. New York Islanders 2, Toronto Maple Leafs, no score.
Number 9, Clark Gillies, 2 minutes for interference.
Clark Gillies takes Pat Hickey out of the play, gets an interference penalty. Hickey did not touch the puck.
Leafs just rang one off the post to the right of Billy Smith, and it's picked up by Potvin. Gillies for interference. Toronto with the power play. This is Settlebauer into the corner to Paymont. Paymont sneaking back of the goal to the blue line for Salming. Lets the shot go. Smith the save, and it hopped over the stick of Sittler. Sittler back to Salming from the opposite point, and again he fired it wide. Another penalty coming up. Paymont wrestled to the ice by Denny Potvin, and the Islanders will be 2 men short.
Dennis Potvin grabs a hold of Wilf Paymont, number 99, and drags Paymont to the ice right in front of referee Greg Medill. The Islanders in a difficult position now. They lead 2-0. They'll be short 2 men. A break in the action with the score: the New York Islanders 2, the Toronto Maple Leafs 0.
2-man advantage for Toronto here as we watch Salming feed it to Robert. Salming is shot, blocked by Billy Smith. Sittler with the rebound. Back to Salming. Into Sittler. Shoots. Smith got in front of that. The puck loose and clear to the corner. Ryan Chache popping it down the ice. And he races for the players' bench and is replaced by Bob Bourne as Robert winds up.
2 good saves, Billy Smith, off Sittler and off Salming.
Now Robert into the Islanders zone. Dropped it to Salming. In front to Sittler. He shoots. That hit Langevin. Sittler with it again. Errol Sittler over to Robert. Drive. Smith the save. Sittler the rebound. Turns. Still hasn't shot it. Trying to get into better position. Over to Robert. Take the shot. Played it underneath Persson. Now Salming a drive. And that went wide again. Paymont back of the goal. Checked by Persson. Langevin worked it around the boards. This is Robert, number 14. Salming into Sittler. Sittler to Robert. Robert trying to move in. Over to Sittler. Shoots. Smith the save, and he covers up.
Wow, Billy Smith, a standing ovation by the fans here in the Nassau Coliseum. Well deserved as Smitty holds his cool. Time and again making saves. Sittler parked to the side. What a save that was. Smith caught that on his right arm, and he had the arm in motion towards the corner. He was trying to deflect the puck to the corner. He did knock it down. He was able to get a hold of it. Good move again, Smitty makes. Stopping the play. That gives Al Arbor a chance to change and get some fresh troops on the ice. Sittler and Salming, between the 2 of them, have had 4 or 5 good opportunities at Billy Smith. Smith angling well, standing up in the top of his crease.
Rache won the draw. Smith, Lorimer, and he shot it into the Islander players' bench. Give Toronto some credit. They have set up well with this 2-man advantage, but the Islanders have been on top of them, haven't given them the good shots, and when they have gotten them away, that man right there, Billy Smith, has been incredible.
Good observation, Jiggs. They have not gotten a shot from the position dead in front, right straight in front of Billy Smith. They've all been angle drives.
Now Lorimer, back of his own goal, was knocked down. Here's Derlego for the Leafs. To Robert. Gillies is out of the box. In front to Derlego. A backhander went wide. Maloney the rebound. He got it up. Up by Smith. It's on the doorstep, and the play is called. The first shot hit Billy in the midsection. Bounced back. They tried to put it up over him. Couldn't do it, and Billy has been shaken up. They're calling for trainer Ron Waskey. Art Gillies down at the side of his goaltender, Billy Smith. And trainer Ron Waskey out to attend to him. He has blocked some shots in this opening period.
Probably had some of the wind knocked out of him. Rolly Mellinson skates out to check on his partner. Fans chanting, Billy, Billy. Number 19, Bill Derlego, went right across in front of Billy Smith. You see 22, 5 trying to screen him as Derlego, one shot, Maloney the rebound twice, and then finally in comes Mike McEwen to take Maloney out. Billy Smith had corralled the puck. Good stop by Billy Smith as number 19, Derlego, falls on top of him.
He's still with the man advantage. Salming over to Robert as play gets underway. Out to Maloney. And Maloney around behind the net, picked up by Derlego to 5, tried to come out in front. Lorimer stepped in front of him, and the shot from Maloney hit the side of the net. Cleared but not out. Robert a drive off the stick and into the crowd. 1 second left in the penalty to Denny Potvin. The Islanders have all but killed this off. They were 2 men short for a minute and a half. And a lot of the credit goes to number 31, Billy Smith.
He does, and his defensive core in front of him, Jiggs, we talked about a minute ago. They were forcing Toronto to shoot from bad angles. It's a tough job, 3 against 5. A necessity is good communication between the 3 players. The puck goes from one point man to the other. One forward cannot move one position to the other with the 2-point man. The defensemen have to move in and out, back and forth. They have to all take different positions than they do under killing penalties, 4 against 5.
Now Denny Potvin steps out of the penalty box. It's a nice hand the Islanders do for this crowd at the Coliseum. They were 2 men short for a minute and a half and killed it off. And now the Leafs have been called for having iced the puck. There's a break in the action with the score. New York Islanders 2, Toronto Maple Leafs no score. The Islanders and the Maple Leafs meet again tomorrow night for Game 2 of their best-of-5 series. Sports Channel will have all the action beginning at 7:30 with the pregame show and the game to follow at 8 o'clock. That's the Maple Leafs and Islanders tomorrow night, 7:30, only on Sports Channel. Your box seat to New York sports at home. Game 2 of this preliminary round.
Islanders facing off in Toronto's end. Philadelphia, Barber and Propp have scored. Lead Quebec 2-0. That's in the first period.
This is Turnbull rounding his own goal for the Leafs. Laid it to the blue line. Billy Carroll, who's out there with Tonelli and Bossy, dumped it back into the Toronto zone. Zanussi checked. Puck comes up this right wing side. Laurie Boschman fed it over the line, but Hickey was in offside. I'd like to welcome all of the people joining us on Manhattan Cable. Tonight's game is being brought to you by Sports Channel, soon to be made available on Manhattan Cable. Hope you're enjoying the action as the Islanders lead 2-0.
A lot of cheers a moment ago. It posted the score Edmonton 1, Montreal 0. We'll update that. It's now Edmonton 2, Montreal 1. Vancouver 1-0 over Buffalo. That's in the first period. And we mentioned Minnesota 2-1 over Boston at the end of 1.
And there is one further, just went up. Philadelphia leads Quebec 2-0. Islanders in front here 2-0 on a shorthanded goal and a power play goal. They're in that Leaf zone again. Tonelli was being chopped at by Boschman. Puck comes to the blue line for Ron Zanussi. Zanussi cutting to the left wing, shot it in off the boards. Billy Smith cuts that off. It's picked up by number 16, Mike McEwen. McEwen to the blue line. Up the middle, intended for Bossy, who was being bothered by Turnbull, and Zerha had to come out of the net to play it for Boschman. Now to Zanussi at centers, who took Turnbull's pass. And again, the Leafs move in offside with 3 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the opening period.
Pat Hickey offside on the left wing. Billy Carroll back to back check on him. Nothing makes the puck carrier more irate than one of his wingers to be offside, particularly if he's covered. He's really not of much use anyway, but to go offside, that's twice the felony.
4 lucky Islander fans had dinner tonight at the Arena Club. It was all paid for by Chemical Bank, and their seats are compliments of Chemical Bank because they were spotted with a Nye Bank and the Islanders bumper sticker. If you don't already have one on your automobile, you can pick one up at Chemical Bank branches in Nassau and Suffolk counties while the supply lasts. We have spotters out, and they pick you. You get tickets, 4 tickets to a playoff game, plus dinner for 4 in the Arena Club here at the Coliseum. Here's Howard up for the Islanders into forecheck in that Leaf zone. The puck comes off to Merrick. Merrick back to the point for Potvin. Dennis winds up, shoots that one off the skate and wide. Potvin after his own rebound. Into the corner, Merrick being tied up by Salming. Sittler and Nystrom collide heavily, and we'll get a face-off to the right of the Leaf goal.
Gary Howitt, Bob Nystrom, Wayne Merrick, a line that has played well for the Islanders in the stretch down to the end and the 80th game of the season. See the players taking a little water refreshment on the bench. Years ago, that was a no-no. One of the old fallacies of sport, water. You should never drink water in a competition. That has been disproved. I'm sure they don't want you to drink a great deal of it, but it is actually suggested that they take a little bit now and then.
This is Turnbull for the Leafs, clearing the puck into center. Ends up inside the Islanders' zone. Leafs in after it. Centered one in front of it. Martin who fed it through. Here's Paymont. Back to Melrose, and it's knocked away from him and into the crowd. Young man just reached up and grabbed it.
Stanley Cup souvenir.
Face off again in the Islander end of the ice. How many years now the player's been actually taking that water internally rather than just rinsing it and spitting it out?
I would have to think at least 12, 13 years now.
You're right, it used to be a no-no. Merrick has dumped the puck down into the Toronto zone. Serra out of the net, played it to the right wing to Paymont. Bumped again by Nystrom. Merrick with a ripping shot that went wide. Here's Morrow in after it, back of the goal to Nystrom. Nystrom centered one out in front, off the stick of Merrick. Potvin a blast, that one over the net. Nystrom picks it up. Sidestepped the check of Turnbull beautifully. Nystrom and Turnbull tie up one another on the boards. It came out in front. Howitt knocks it away from Melrose. It went to the corner, but Turnbull was there. Turnbull to Paymont. Paymont down the right side as he got away from Potvin. Paymont a shot, hit the post to the right of Smith. Now Turnbull a drive, and that sails wide of the goal. Picked up by Paymont. Slaps it around the boards into the corner, chasing it is Morrow. Down to Potvin. At the center ice for Merrick. Merrick got a ride to the boards from Salming, and Boschman picked up the puck. Corey Boschman shooting one in. Morrow back for the Islanders, slaps it off the boards at center. It's Duras for the Leafs. Salming. Salming, who's been out for the last few weeks with a shoulder injury, dumped one into the Islanders zone. Morrow around the boards. Robert is there. Robert to Saddlebauer. Saddlebauer centers. A shot went wide of the net as Boschman was parked at the side of the goal. Boschman back to the blue line. This is Salming with a shot blocked in front by Smith, and Potvin has the rebound. Dennis cleared it, but not out. Ready Robert's shot. Grabbed by Billy Smith, and he elects to hold on. We have 53 seconds left in the opening period. The Islanders lead it 2-0.
Toronto Maple Leafs get a couple of opportunities. Islanders making mistakes behind their own blue line. Toronto taking advantage of it. Billy Smith, another good save as Wilf Paymont lets the shot go. Actually, Billy Smith caught a piece of the puck and hit the goalpost, deflected out. That would be a save if it, which it appeared to, hit just the edge of Billy Smith's pad, deflecting off the goalpost. As Toronto comes close, 2-0 for the Islanders late in the first period. 53 seconds remaining to be exact.
Goring will take the face-off for the Islanders against Bill Derlago. Live is on this line along with Maloney for the Leafs. The puck comes back to the blue line and just outside the line. Gillies moving up, knocked it away from Salming. Got it to number 29, Hector Marini, and the goaltender, Sarai, likes to cover up on the puck. He had nowhere to play it, and he comes over to talk to his defenseman, Boreas Salming. Mix-up in the Leaf zone on the play.
That's communication again between the goaltender and Sirha, and this time it was Boreas Salming, number 21. Sirha wanted to give him the puck. Salming was not putting himself in the position to take the puck. The defenseman should go to a point, a designated point, so that the goaltender can slide the puck to him. He should know where to go.
Now, weak shot from Marini after getting control of it. And the Leafs able to clear it to center. Persson is back. Persson pulled it away from Derlago. That's Turnbull at the Leaf line to Melrose. Melrose for the pass up the middle. Well, Maloney shot it in, but Vive was ahead of the play. We have 24 seconds remaining in the opening period. Let's take a look at the scores as we have them around the other playoff games.
Now,
Edmonton
3-1 now over Montreal in the second period. Vancouver 2-0. That's two surprises right there. You never know. Of course, the games are not over.
Here, the Islanders up 2-0. Persson and Langevin playing it back and forth. Langevin carrying it to center, fires a long shot. Sarah, the stick save. Leafs take over in their own zone. Melrose bumped by Gillies. Here's Langevin. The play is called.
Penalty. Greg Medell is going to give Clark Gillies an elbowing penalty. Barry Melrose and Clark Gillies along the boards. Gillies gets the arm up a little high, trying to put a little extra into it again, as he did the shot early in the first period. Melrose took the elbow on the side of the head. Gillies gets the gate. 8 seconds remaining in the first period. 2-0 Islanders. Power play by Toronto. They had a 25.1% efficiency completion of their power play through the regular season. We get a look here. Gillies, that's Barry Melrose, 26 along the boards. Gillies comes in, cracks him with an elbow right on the side of the head, and that's what the penalty came for.
That's the 6th penalty of the period for them against the New York Islanders, as Gillies is off at 19:52. Black Velvet Professional Rodeo Tournament of Champions, May 29th through the 31st here at the Nassau Coliseum. Tickets will be $10, $9, and $8. Carroll on the face-off. The Leafs got the puck to Salming. He'll try a long shot. That went wide of the goal, and there's the horn. The first period of Stanley Cup playoff action is over. The score after 1, New York Islanders 2, Toronto Maple Leafs, no score. 1-0. Take another look at that. I think Settlebauer was looking for a door to get out of here.
And no kidding, that's where you first look. A crack in the ice to try and hide in. Right there. Settlebauer tries to put the puck behind the net. It hit the inside of the left foot of goalie Sirha and deflected between his legs into the net. The original mistake was Turnbull's for not going.
Toronto, of course. A minute 52 left in Gillies' elbowing penalty as we get ready for the second period. Toronto outshot the Islanders 16-13, thanks in large part to the fact that they had 3 and now working on their 4th power play. The Islanders with Morrow and Potvin on defense, Billy Carroll and Bourne up front. The puck cleared outside the line before Salming was able to trap it. He shot it anyway. The face-off coming up. Billy Smith overworked in the first period for my money, 18.
Too many shots. I would agree with that, Jiggs McDonald. Good warm-up for him, though. You could say that now because none of them got by him. He played an excellent period. Clark Gillies, 1 minute and 42 seconds remaining on his elbowing penalty. So Toronto, of course, is on a power play.
This is Rennie Robert over to Salming. Salming off the boards. They hit Paymont. Salming got it back to Robert. Bourne in forechecking. Now up the left side, Settlebauer. Bourne came back to take it away from him. Bob Bourne fired away from Salming. Sirha comes out of the Leaf goal to cut it off. Al Arbor has sent Trache and Butch Goring out on the ice now as the penalty killers. Robert up the right side to Paymont at center. Will Paymont got it into the corner. Morrow was there. Morrow cleared it. Hit Salming. Salming trying to come in around Trache. Got it back to Robert. Robert fires it into the corner. On Settlebauer. Now to Sittler. Sittler off the boards to Robert. Robert's shot hit Trache. Bounced into the corner. Denny Potvin picks it up. Turns and shoots it down the ice.
Good play, Brian Trache. You do not see Trache too often sliding down on the ice to block shots. That time he did. Robert's shot he got in front of that allowed Dennis Potvin to recover it and shoot it down the ice.
Salming shoots it in from center ice. Langevin cleared it, but not out. Robert moves in. Shoots, missed the save. Big rebound. Came to the blue line, and Robert able to walk right in. Dangerous.
Close call, the Islanders, as the puck is batted by Dave Langevin. Picked up by Robert. Morrow goes down. Robert, not a good shot. Rennie Robert is a fine scorer, or was at one time, 50-goal man with Buffalo. Let that particular shot go from a good advantage point. It was too high. Billy Smith had no trouble at all getting a hold of it. And that's where we have the stoppage of play.
Toronto on the draw, got it to Salming. Salming lets it go, and that went wide of the net. Robert, checked by Bourne, clears it, not out, Salming. Over on the far side, Derlego scores. Bill Derlego.
Toronto Maple Leafs get the opportunities. They finally take advantage of it. 3 times the New York Islanders had possession of the puck in their own end of the ice and gave it up. This time, the puck goes back to the point man. Salming, his shot from the point misses the net. Around it goes. Bobby Bourne right there had the puck and lost it as Derlego winds up, lets the shot go. Billy Smith partially screened on the play, and it beats him to the left. Number 22, 5 is right in front. Stefan Pearson trying to shove him out of the way, but the puck beats Billy Smith to the left side, his catching side. And that gives Toronto their first goal of the game, a power play goal. Now 2-1.
The only assist is credited to Boreas Salming. It was he who played it across to Derlego, number 19.
He had intercepted the pass, or actually it was a shot. Bobby Bourne was trying to clear the puck out of the end zone. And when he tried to do so, Salming intercepted the clearing shot, passed it across.
Salming had been in quite a conversation with the referee. Mike Nicolak apparently wanted an interpretation on something, perhaps. Salming has gone to the Leaf bench now.
The change, Jiggs, I think they can only change within a certain time. If they don't make their substitutions, the referee will send the players back to the bench.
That was Zanussi who just shot it in. Hickey went to center one. Lorimer falling, unable to clear it. McEwen covering up in front of his own goal. The Bossy who dumps it out into the center ice area. Salming is back out for the Leafs. Gave it to Duras, to Salming. Salming to Duras on the left side. Duras failed to clear it out. Now it's picked up at center ice. Here's Boschman over the Islander line. Laurie Boschman went to the backhand. Couldn't make the play. John Tonelli for the Islanders dumps it into center ice. Bossy chasing it. Couldn't knock it away from Duras. McEwen waiting outside the line. Waiting for Bossy. Couldn't wait long enough. Lost it to Zanussi, who shoots it into the Islander zone. Martin went in after it. He was checked. Sanchez dumps it outside the line. Brought back in and brought out by Lorimer. Lorimer, a long shot. Islanders in the middle of the player change as the Leafs come up the left side with Terry Martin in control of it. Martin at center, shot it in over the line. It hit Morrow, picked up by McEwen. Nice McEwen's pass, cut off at center ice by Martin. Martin off the boards, into the corner. Sittler chasing it. Morrow steps in front of him. Morrow around and sent it for Nystrom. Martin broke it up. Martin center. Smith got the heel of the stick on it. Now here's Shand at the blue line to Sittler back of the net. Sittler put it out in front off Smith. And right to Morrow. Eddie Morrow shot it into the corner. This is Howard trying to center it. The puck ends up back of the net. Leaf defenseman Melrose, or make it Parrish rather, played it around the boards to Martin. Larry Martin on the left wing with Sittler and Paymont as the Islanders start from their own zone. Potvin to Nystrom. He's over the line. Nystrom to Howard on left wing. Howard bumped in the corner on a check from Shand. Nystrom chases the puck. Roddy Nystrom centers. Tipped away from Potvin, and it comes outside the line. Morrow lost it to Parrish. The Leafs have shot it down into the Islanders zone. Potvin picks it up with 16 minutes left. Lost it back of the net. By the backhander. Smith to save. Live plays it back of the goal and stolen by Morrow to Nystrom. Up the right side. Nystrom at center. Ran into a check from Maloney. Maloney without a stick as Morrow fed the puck to Denny Potvin. Rink wide to Nystrom. Broken up cleanly by Turnbull. Turnbull over the line. Right it back, and it comes to Nystrom at center. He couldn't control it. The puck loose. Merrick trying to get it away from the skates of the linesman, Ron Finn. Then Merrick in a sandwich with Turnbull and Maloney. Morrow shot it into the Toronto zone, and that's going to be called for icing the puck. 15:34 left in the period. A break in the action with the score. New York Islanders 2, Toronto Maple Leafs 1.
Before you import at your Nassau, Suffolk Chevy dealer.
Jiggs McDonald with Ed Westfall here at the Nassau Coliseum. The Leafs move in on the left side with Maloney in pursuit of the puck. Ran into Marini, and the puck goes back of the goal. That's Dave Langevin with it. Up the middle to Goring, who tipped it into center. Turnbull coming back for Toronto. Turnbull played it around the boards and went right to Marini, to Gillies. Back to Marini. To Goring. Goring went to put it out in front and was broken up, controlled by Maloney. Maloney with 5 in the center. Marini is going to get the gate. The Leafs dump one into the Islanders zone. Hector Marini back to pick it up, and he'll head right to the penalty box.
Hector a little upset with himself. A break in the action. But the score, the New York Islanders 2, the Toronto Maple Leafs 1. Islanders a man short again. Hector Marini is the culprit this time. Marini, a hooking penalty at 5:12. Right on the bottom of your screen, you see him reach out, gets Derlego with his stick. Derlego goes down. A little help from Gillies also. The Islanders killing a penalty.
This is Robert for Toronto to Settlebauer. Back of the Islander goal. Derlego gives it to Robert. Robert into the corner. Settlebauer shot. Smith slid up to block that. Here's Paymont back of the goal now. To the blue line to Robert. Robert over to Salming. Salming shot. Smith the save. Picked up by Settlebauer. On Settlebauer to Paymont back of the goal. Sittler parked out in front. Paymont couldn't get it to him. Potvin knocked it away. Went to Settlebauer. Tried to stuff it in. And Potvin rode Settlebauer to the ice, and the Islanders bring it to center. Trottier over the line. Shooting, and that went wide of the net. Paymont picks it up on right wing quickly to Sittler. Sittler, that's the shot line, and went high and wide on the glove side. Now Potvin leans into Paymont in the corner. And Potvin trying to get it away from Settlebauer. He likes to freeze it. And they face off to the left of Billy Smith.
Number 18, Ron Settlebauer. He was the one that put the puck between his own goaltender's legs to give the Islanders a 1-0 lead. Just got a good shot away at Billy Smith a moment ago. Smith sliding along, making the save. Good timing. Again, Billy Smith. Good positioning, good timing, as Settlebauer got a lot on a pass from Rennie Robert.
Al Arbor has sent Butch Goring out with Billy Carroll.
Islanders, Jiggs, this is their 4th straight minor penalty.
That's too many. Goring shooting it around the board. Salming with it at the blue line. Salming into the corner. Paymont back to Salming. Salming centered one all alone, and Vive had the shot. Now Smith to save off Derlego. Vive was there by himself. The Islanders killing off penalties one after the other, giving Toronto this time a chance to set up. Let's take another look at it.
Specialty units are always important. Rick Vive right there, left all alone. Bobby Lorimer down on the ice has a lock on the Toronto stick. Billy Smith makes the save again. Specialty units are always important throughout the regular season. They are just magnified that much more when it comes playoff time. You have to have the good penalty kill. You have to have the good power play. Islanders, 4 straight penalties they've taken now. Toronto has 1 power play goal. If they flirt with that too much, it'll catch up with them.
Billy Carroll able to tip the puck to center. Goring one-on-one with Salming, and the shot hits Salming. Serra left it back of the goal for Phil Derlego. Derlego to Robert. Robert to Salming. Into center. Salming across the line. Salming to Derlego over to Vive, and it was out of his reach. Now Vive plays it around the boards. Maloney in after it. Maloney checked by Lorimer to Goring. He backhands it to center, and the Leafs have to go back. 16 seconds left in the penalty to Hector Marini. Rennie Robert pulling it away from Carroll. Now starts out on the right side. To Salming on the left wing, into center, over the line. Salming put on the brakes, laid it rink wide. His teammates in the middle of a player change, and I think they got caught.
6 men on the ice again. Toronto is going to get a penalty for too many men on the ice. Ron Hasseltine, the linesman, was leaning up against the bench, could not miss it. A break in the action with the score of the New York Islanders.
Well, it was a bench minor penalty at 9:46 of the first period that set up Gillies' power play goal. Leafs caught with too many men on the ice at 7:12. Period number 2. Islanders up 2-1. With the extra man, it's Bossy, Trottier, and Gillies. This is Trottier over the line. Trottier to Potvin, too far. Bossy picks it up. Bossy back to Denny Potvin. Potvin gave it to Bossy, turns, shoots, he scores! Just as simple as that. Thank you. Tic-tac-toe, it's called. Mike Bossy scoring for the Islanders at 7:34. Right after the penalty to the Leafs for having had too many men on the ice. Do not form a search party. Ed Westfall is at the game as Mike doesn't work any longer. It's quit. Well, let's lead together here. What do you want to say?
No, I said it was just a pattern play of Michael Bossy's. He just took the pass and rifled it all in one motion. No one does it better than he does. Very few players can do it.
Ready to watch. Bossy, turn, shoot, bang. His first of the playoffs. The Islanders are up 3-1. This is McEwen at the Islander line into center ice. Got the puck into the Toronto zone. There will be no icing call. Burris hit hard. You heard the groan. Trache to Bossy, who flipped it through in the backhand. Now Tonelli over. He's on the left wing with Trache and Bossy. Puck loose in the Leaf zone. They failed to clear it out. Now Duras gets a stick on it. To the right wing for Zanussi. Backhands it into center. McEwen is there. To Trache. Played it break wide, but right to Hickey. He couldn't pick it up. Bossy falling into the boards. And Boschman starts back for Toronto. Laurie Boschman, who missed a lot of the season with mono, shot that one wide of the Islander goal. Comes around to the right side. Duras from the point, slaps it wide of the goal. Hickey went sprawling over top of Billy Smith as Trache gets into the Toronto territory. Brian Trache shoots. He scores! What? Getting the Islanders a 4-1 lead. The goal at 8:30. But right between the legs of Yeri Sira. Trache, quick, hard shot, and it beat him between the legs. Big goal for the Islanders again. It gives them the 3-goal lead, the thing that they needed. Staying ahead, 3 goals. Also. So Trache unassisted. We'll get the time of the goal for you. This is Ferry at center ice for the Leaf defense. To Paymont, he shoots it into the Islander zone. It comes off the boards. Denny Potvin will pick it up. Potvin failed to clear it out. Wayne Merrick got a stick on it to Howitt. Howitt upended from behind, and there'll be a penalty against Toronto. Darryl Sittler complains to referee Medill, but he'll head for the penalty box. And the Islanders get their second power play of the period.
Number 27, Darryl Sittler.
There's a break in the action with the score. New York Islanders 4, Toronto Maple Leafs 1.
Sittler now, a penalty as the Islanders open up a 3-goal lead again. Sittler pulling the feet out from underneath Gary Howitt. Islanders could blow it open here.
Marini feeding the puck to Goring. As Gillies with him. Goring trying to get away from Martin. The puck comes outside the line. Pearson being watched by Martin, who's up for checking. McEwen upended by Martin. No penalty. Martin broke his stick. Here's Goring across the line. Goring in the corner. Back to the blue line. Pearson turns with it. That's McEwen on the left wing. Lets it fly. Blocked the rebound, and Goring slapped it wide of the goal. He had Duras dead to right. Now Marini put it in front. Out the goaltender, Serhan. And it's cleared out into center ice. Coming back is Marini. Hector Marini leaves it for Mike McEwen. Leafs in the middle of a change. McEwen up the middle to Bourne, but across 2 lines and offside.
Can't have a better opportunity than what Butch Goring had a moment ago. A rebound. He had the whole net. He was too anxious to get the puck in, and he missed the net to the left side. A penalty a moment ago that was not called. Referee Greg Medill right there. McEwen gets tripped up. Sittler's in the box. That would have given the Islanders a 2-man advantage, but it was not called. Still, the Islanders on a power play. Darryl Sittler's tripping penalty, 1 minute and 8 seconds. You can't come closer than what the Islanders came there. Butch Goring missed a wide open net with what looked to be a fairly easy shot from about 10 or 12 feet.
The Islander goals this period. Bossy from Potvin and Trache at 7:34. And Trache unassisted at 8:30. Here's Bossy moving in. Back to Potvin and his drive, but off Salming and up into the crowd.
There was no way that was going to be stopped by a goaltender. Dennis Potvin. Bossy hustling, gets the puck back at Potvin from about 15 to 20 feet. Just walked in and blazed it. It was deflected, or that one would have been tangled in the twine. Barry Melrose has gone to the Leafs locker room. We don't know why as of yet.
Trache got that draw to Potvin. This is Persson on the right point to Bossy. Now to Persson. Persson shoots one. He scores!
Deflection. Stefan Persson blasted from the point. Toronto looking truly disorganized as they skate around in different positions. Everybody running around. Stefan Persson lets go. A drive that was tipped. It could have been tipped by Bossy. Or maybe it was Brian Trache. It was a left-hand shot. Brian Trache, it appears, has tipped the puck.
Second of the game for number 19, Brian
Trache tipped the puck, and it's in 5-1 now for the New York Islanders. The game is just about halfway over with 9:43. Stefan Persson and Michael Bossy getting the assist.
Oh, it's 5-1 Islanders, and we're midway through the period of the game. Teams at 6 aside. Lorimer shooting it into the Leaf zone offside. Trache with a pair. They come back-to-back. The first unassisted at 8:30. The second one via the power play. 10-17 with Sittler sitting out that tripping penalty.
Now we take a look at Brian Trache, number 19. Center iceman extraordinaire. Great team player.
Set a record a year ago for most points in the playoffs. Winner of the Conn Smythe Trophy. Off to a good start here tonight. Derlego clearing the puck in the Leaf zone for Shan. Back to Derlego. Derlego at center fires a long shot. Smith made the save. Dumped it for McEwen. This is Perini on the right side, dumping the puck into center and spinning like a top into the Toronto zone. Shan got back. Carroll right on top of him. Shan handed it to Gillies. Gillies' pass was cut off, and the Leafs cleared it. McEwen at center to Lorimer. Bob Lorimer crossed the line with Carroll moving into possession. Now Carroll put it back to the point. McEwen shot blocked in front. It's underneath the goaltender. Zera able to make that stop. We have a break in the action with the score. New York Islanders 5, Toronto Maple Leafs 1.
Fans getting a lot of enjoyment out of the 3-1 score into the first period. That's 3-1 Edmonton over Montreal. The Bruins score 3-2 Boston in the second period over Minnesota is still the same. But the other score, Quebec, has now tied the score 3-3 with Philadelphia. That's also in the second period.
Leafs moved in 3-on-2. Robert got the shot. Another shot. It's a scramble on the doorstep. Smith with help from Persson able to cover up. And we'll get a face-off. Big Derlego, or rather Settlebauer, excuse me, number 18 in front of the goal. Slapping at it. Melrose has come out of the penalty box, or out of the Leaf dressing room, I should say, and is back for action.
It was a skate that his problem was. You could see him tested as he came out in front of the bench. In the first period, 1-0, Pittsburgh over St. Louis. Surprise. Well, not really. It's early in the game, so 1-0 Pittsburgh over St. Louis. 2-1 Vancouver over Buffalo in the second period.
And this one going true to form. Islanders 5, Toronto 1. 8:35 left in period number 2. It was 2-0 at the end of the first on goals by Carroll and Gillies. And after Derlego's power play goal, the Islanders have come back with 3 straight. Bossy, Trache with a pair. This is Bossy following the draw, clearing it into center. Hooked it away from Salming. 2-on-1 with Trache. Let's watch it. Bossy missed the net. Trache missed on the rebound. Now Brian DeMike backhanded it through in front of the goal, and Robert picks it up. Robert fires it into center. This is Persson. Stefan to Trache. It was too well covered. Boston did a number on Trache on that play, and here's Salming across the line. It's hooked away from him by Bossy to Trache. Trache against Duras. Over the line. Trap shot. Off Duras up into the crowd.
Excitement as the Islanders try to pour it on. They want to open up the lead. It's important in the playoffs that you have a killer instinct. Get 5-1, make it 6-1 if you can. Do not let the other team get back into the hockey game. Islanders steal another puck. Bossy out of the end zone. Salming had it. Bossy took it away from him and breaks away with 21 back. 24, I'm sorry. That's Duras. Bossy missed the net, so did Trottier.
Mike Bossy proving to the Leafs that he's more than just a goal scorer. Breaking up their plays a couple of times. Now Nystrom couldn't keep it. Turnbull with it over the line. Fires a shot. Smith put the stick in front of that. Morrow picks up the puck. Denny Morrow teamed up with Denny Potvin on the Islander defense. Working up front. Merrick, Nystrom, and Howard as Morrow brought it to center. Fed it to Merrick. Merrick coming in over the line. Shoots. Blocked the rebound. And again it hit the goaltender. Howard tried to hook it out in front. Merrick was flattened on a check from Melrose. Here's Nystrom in the corner. Bob Nystrom. Hard work on those boards, and Howard comes to the assistance now in front of Nystrom. Sarah the save. Some shoving going on as Turnbull wrestles Nystrom to the corner. Howard is in the middle of it as well.
Tempers flare a little. Islanders trying to get the 6th goal. Coming close. Nystrom, Howard. Wayne Merrick on a breakaway. The puck eluded him. It started to bounce. Very difficult to skate and handle the puck when it's bouncing like a football. He got a half a shot away. But Sirha ends up with the puck. A stoppage of play.
There's a break in the action with the score. New York Islanders 5. 6:51 remaining. Apparently we are with you as Howard is in the Toronto zone. Howard fed it behind Nystrom. There's going to be a penalty against the Leafs. Melrose flattened Merrick at the side of the goal, and as Turnbull picks up the puck, Barry Melrose heads for the penalty box.
An interference call by Craig Medill, the referee, wearing the orange armbands. Melrose decked Wayne Merrick right in front of the goaltender. Merrick was not involved in the play at the time, getting himself in good position as he should. He gets knocked down. Melrose gets the penalty, and the Islanders, who lead 5-1, will have an opportunity to make it more. It was last year, Jiggs, talking about Brian Trottier, 2 goals. He scored 2 goals in the opening round against Los Angeles Kings on a penalty-killing situation. He got 2 shorthanded goals in 1 penalty last year. That got him started toward his record-breaking playoff spree.
Watching an Islander power play as McEwen gave it to Marini. He ran into a check from Zanussi. Salming clearing it off the stick of McEwen and into center ice. Mike McEwen over to Persson. Melrose off for interference as the Islanders shot it in off the stick of Goring. Goring, Marini, and Gillies up front. Sarah handed it right to Gillies. Clark Gillies out of the corner. Back to the net is Marini. Marini to the blue line for McEwen. Over to Persson. Now to Gillies. Gillies back to Persson. Stepan, a shot blocked in front. Leafs able to clear it. Laurie Boschman starting out with Zanussi, and Boschman elects to shoot it down into the Islanders zone. 5-1, Islanders up. 1 minute, 10 seconds left in the power play. Persson to Goring. Bossy out on the left wing. Goring over the line. Now to McEwen. Hickey watching McEwen as he fed it to Gillies on the far side. Gillies to Bossy, and he shot it wide. Trapped it in the skate and fired it high and wide. Pile up on the boards, and there's no further play. Robert, number 14 for the Leafs, freezing it. I'd like to welcome all of the folks joining us for the first time tonight, watching the game on Manhattan Cable Television. This game being brought to you by SportsChannel. SportsChannel soon to be made available on Manhattan Cable.
47 seconds remaining in the penalty to Barry Melrose, an interference penalty.
Later tonight, the Rangers at Los Angeles. We take a look at the scoreboard. Of course, Calgary playing later this evening at home against Chicago. Persson shot blocked at the Leaf defense. Turnbull got in front of it. Potvin unable to set up Bossy, and the Leafs start out, led by Turnbull. Over the line with Sittler trailing. Turnbull fired one wide of the goal. It comes off the boards. Robert with it. He just dumped it to the corner and right to Persson. Persson to Trottier. Drop pass picked up by Tonelli. Tonelli across the line. Tried to feed it to the defense. It went right between Potvin and Persson. Persson to John Tonelli. Tonelli to Bossy, too far. Trottier with it. Flying off the boards to Potvin. Back to Trottier. Trottier to Potvin. Dennis fires, blocked by the goaltender, Serra. Here's Persson moving in. Teams at 6 aside again. Persson to Trottier as he goes back to the goal. Trottier to Tonelli, and his shot was blocked at the defense. Tonelli gives it to Trottier. Trottier trying to set up Bossy in front. Bossy picks up the puck after it hit Robert to Tonelli around the check. Tonelli mocked right in and fired one wide. He's trying to set up Trottier instead. Had a chance to shoot it. Now Potvin knocks it out of the air and brought it in offside. Leafs yelling that he put his hand on the puck, grabbed it, but no penalty. A break in the action with the score. New York Islanders 5, Toronto Maple Leafs 1. Sellout crowd here as we look at the Toronto Maple Leafs coach, Mr. Nicoluk. Toronto has won the Stanley Cup 11 times. Second to Gezu, Montreal, who have won it 20 times. 1967, though, was the last time the Leafs sipped from the cup. The year of expansion when the NHL went from 6 to 12 teams. Toronto was offside as they moved into the Islanders zone. Remember the line that Punch Imlach used? He was the coach at that time, used all defensemen up front.
Started the game, yeah.
Alan Stanley, Red Kelly, Bobby Bond.
He used to do that a great deal. Start the game. The forward line would be, or actually the starting lineup were 5 defensemen.
In those days, it was unheard of. I don't know that I've heard of
Today.
it since. This is Bourne feeding the puck out of his own zone. It's Bourne with Marini and Carroll just now for the Islanders. McEwen back in his own zone. The teams are at 6 aside as Marini gave it to Lorimer. Lorimer dumps it into center. The speed of Carroll as he picks it up. Billy Carroll in front, and Bourne knocked away by Derlego. Lorimer comes in from the line, trying to get it to Carroll back of the goal. Billy Carroll grabbed, wrestled a little bit by Vive. Here's McEwen, a shot. That's blocked in front of the net, and the goaltender, Serra, held it long enough. The red light did come on, but there is no goal. The whistle had sounded before it went into the net.
Hector Marini, Billy Carroll teaming up. A moment ago, they had a 2-on-1 break. The pass by Billy Carroll was a little behind. Hector Marini did not get a shot away that time. Look at it. 2 Islanders right in the goal crease looking for the puck. Not one Toronto defenseman, Jiggs. That's not good. Toronto having a lot of trouble in their own end of the ice. Billy Carroll using his speed. Hector Marini is digging and scrapping and hustling along the boards. They've got Toronto looking very confused and bewildered.
Leafs can score goals, although they have not tonight. They have that 1 goal on the power play. Defensively, it's been dreadful, including the goaltending. They've used a lot of people this year.
They established a club record this year of 322 goals. That's a Maple Leaf record.
This is Nystrom to Merrick. Merrick shoots. That hit the stick of Shand and went wide. Now Morrow puts it out in front of the goal. Chasing it is Howitt. Harry Howitt to Merrick. Merrick tried to center to Nystrom. That hit a stick and went wide. Martin for the lead. Shoots it into center. Picked off and shot right back in again by Gary Howitt. Shand over to Salming, who played it to the right side. Paymont to David Shand. Shand has been plagued by injuries this season. Spent some time in their farm system at Moncton as well. Now Shand fires it down into the Islander zone. That'll be called back for icing the puck. We're down to 2 minutes and 28 seconds remaining in the second period. Islanders have outscored the Leafs 3-1 in this period after a 2-0 margin in the first.
Toronto, without the leadership of Daryl Sittler, it'll make it that much tougher. Sittler does not look like a playoff-type Sittler that we remember from other years. He does a lot of hitting and a lot of checking, kind of leads everybody into doing the same thing. So far in this hockey game, he has not done that. See him step back, Jiggs, a moment ago and let Gary Howitt go in front of him and take the puck. Players on his own team see that. They're allowed to do the same thing.
Here's Bossy, and he just missed him, making it 6-1. Mike Bossy. Now Robert cleared it off the stick of Tonelli. Tonelli back to his defense mate Persson. Persson and Robert collide in front of the Leaf bench. Stefan tying it up on the boards, and we'll get a face-off. Just had a look around the Nassau Coliseum a moment ago and saw the bunting. It's playoff time. Rennie Robert has been in the playoff action before, but primarily as a Buffalo Sabre prior to joining Toronto by way of the Colorado Rockies.
He left Buffalo, went to Colorado for John Van Boxmeer, a player that Scotty Bowman thinks very highly of. And then he went to the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Robert with Settlebauer now trying to put it out in front. It's at the back of the Islander goal, and Langevin was able to feed it for Billy Carroll. Carroll into center. The puck knocked away from him. Boreas Salming with it. 1:50 left in the second period. To Robert now. Robert just elects to shoot one in. Dave Langevin gives chase. Langevin to Bossy. Bossy bumped by Duras, but he managed to clear the puck into center ice. Coming back for the Leafs is Belrose. Off the board, stolen by Billy Carroll. A heads-up play in front to Pinelli, and he was robbed by Serra. The backhand shot went wide as Carroll came in for the rebound. Leafs clear it to center ice. Persson back. Stefan Persson to Goring, who's out to replace Carroll. Goring backhanded it into the Toronto zone. Belrose picks it up. Billy Carroll does not look like it's his first playoff game, folks. This is Settlebauer moving in with a shot that's grabbed by Smith. Feeds it up quickly to Hector Marini. Marini into center ice. Across the Leaf line. Marini tried to feed it through. Got it right back. Marini around to Gillies. Gillies center. Lorimer shoots. He scores! Lorimer from Gillies, and it's 6-1.
Islanders are all over Toronto. They are out hustling them to every puck. We saw that with Billy Carroll a moment ago. This time it's Bobby Lorimer. Gillies gives it to Lorimer in front of Serra. He tucks it right in the top of the net. Islanders 6-1 as Bob Lorimer come all the way in from his defense position. Gillies backhanded the puck to him. Serra went down to try and block a low, and Lorimer popped it up into the top of the net.
Islanders' goal was
Lorimer and McEwen out of the Islander defense.
The assist to number 9, Clark Gillies, and number 29, Hector Marini.
Hector Marini getting his second assist of the game on Lorimer's goal.
Gillies and
He cleared it outside the line, brought in by Mike McEwen.
Toronto giving up the puck so easily in their own end of the ice. That will be also very costly. The Islanders just sitting like vultures waiting to pick them clean.
Another little surprise in the other games tonight. Edmonton beating Montreal is a surprise in itself. But the starting goaltender is Andy Moog for Edmonton.
And almost unheard of.
They've been using Gary Edwards primarily in the last couple of weeks. Play has been called. The Islanders charged with icing the puck, forcing a face-off deep in their own zone. It is not a happy Mike Nicolak behind the Toronto bench.
By no means.
High spirits before the game.
He had brought the Toronto Maple Leafs to 500 hockey from the time he took over. They had not lost in their last 5 games up to the end of the season. St. Louis now leads Pittsburgh 2-1. Zook and Curry have scored for St. Louis. Malone got Pittsburgh's lone goal. That's at the end of 1 period.
Ryan Trottier leads the New York Islanders with 2 goals, scoring on this faceoff. Played it back of his own goal. Picked up by Derlego. Came out in front to the blue line. Termela shot. Blocked in front. Smith poked it loose. The rebound. And Maloney shot hit a leg. Now another drive. And it's blocked in front of the Islander goal and cleared out by Bourne. Belrose to 5. Shot it right back in. Chasing it is McEwen. And that's going to do it for the second period. It's all in front of backhander. Larocque the save. Gillies the rebound. That's blocked by Larocque. Langevin from the point. His shot hit somebody in front of the goal. Larocque out of the net. Lost his stick, and the Leafs able to clear the puck to center. Langevin, 8 moves to get away from the check of 5. Shot it back in, but offside.
Goal for Toronto.
There's a break in the action with the score. New York Islanders 6, Toronto Maple Leafs 1.
Jiggs, I hope you can take this sitting down. It's in the 3rd period. Edmonton has just scored again. It's 4-1 now for the Edmonton Oilers over the Montreal Canadiens. My Islander-Canadian final certainly has some holes in it.
Wow. Yeah, I thought Montreal would roll over Edmonton, as a matter of fact. Here's Bourne feeding it to Trottier. 2-on-1. Bossy is with him. Trottier indeed to Bossy. He scores. 30-1.
I'll say the secret to that play, of course, Brian Trottier again. He held the puck and held it, but Bossy knew that he could not go too far or go beyond the net. Trottier and Bossy 2-on-1. Trottier over to Bossy, and I mean, there's no question that he's not going to pop it into the net. He just fires it into the open net. Michael Bossy, his second goal of the game, a 7-1 lead by the Islanders. Gloria Salming, number 21, was the player back. He's the one that Toronto wanted to have on the ice each time that the Bossy-Trottier line were out there. And he's certainly seen a lot of them tonight. 7-1 as the New York Islanders, just starting the third period, have run away with the hockey game.
Now the Leafs at their own line. Turnbull on the left side. Shot it into the Islanders' zone. Potvin back for it. Any Potvin to Merrick to Howitt. Howitt playing it rink wide to Nystrom. Settlebauer stepped in front of him, and now Bobby Nye turns in the center ice area. Potvin. Dennis puts it into the far corner. Turnbull there. Lost it back of the net, then grabbed a hold of Merrick. No whistle, and Robert starts up. Robert, long pass to Settlebauer, trying to break in around Morrow. Smith comes out of the net, knocked it away from Settlebauer. Got a piece of him as well.
That's the first time Billy Smith has shown any signs of losing his posture.
Now Denny Potvin fed the puck to Morrow. Morrow into center. Forces the Leafs into their own zone. Darryl Sittler up the right side to Robert. Robert rink wide, too far ahead of Settlebauer. Morrow chases it. No icing call. Morrow around to Langevin. Now to Merrick. Merrick at center, fired it high over the head of Nystrom and into the Toronto Maple Leaf players' bench. We have a break in the action with the score. New York Islanders 7, Toronto Maple Leafs 1.
A change for the Islanders, an oddity. Billy Smith has been relieved by Rolly Melanson. Obviously, they just want to give Billy Smith the rest. He gets a standing ovation from the large crowd here at the Nassau Coliseum.
Melanson has faced the Maple Leafs once. In fact, it was his last game before returning to Indianapolis when he was up earlier in the season. Beat them 4-2 in Toronto. The Islanders, with 16 minutes to play, using Melanson. Unlike baseball, they have the option. They could put Billy Smith back in there if they so desired. But Melanson has come on to replace Smith at 3:37 of the third period. Islanders up 7-1. Some work for both of the backup goaltenders now as Larocque is in for the Leafs. This is Zanussi on right wing. The Boschman who got it in across the line, but it laid offside. Langevin brings it back. Bossy chasing it into the Leaf zone. Ran into Salming. Got it to Melrose at least to Carroll. Now to Persson at the blue line. His shot, Larocque able to make the save. They're going to hit him more than the save, perhaps. Here's Hickey across the line to Zanussi. Broken up by Billy Carroll. Carroll out into center ice. Got it around the boards in the Leaf zone, then heads back to the players' bench. Melrose fired it to the open wing at center. Came right to Mike McGillen. McGilly's too far. Melrose shooting one into the Islanders' zone. Went wide of the net. Leafs playing around behind the goal to Paymont. Paymont in front to Sittler, too far. Now Turnbull turns, shoots, Melanson the save. Paymont with the rebound. Paymont to Turnbull. His drive is blocked and the puck loose at center. Marini chasing it. Tied up by Paymont. There'll be a penalty coming up against Toronto. Will Paymont will get the gate.
A hooking penalty to Paymont. A break in the action with the New York Islanders leading 7-1. Wilf Paymont gets a hooking penalty on Hector Marini. Islanders on a power play.
Not bad, and Persson at the blue line. Up front, it's Merrick, Nystrom, and Howitt. This is Merrick getting across the line. Gave it to Potvin. Dennis in deep center. Nystrom made contact with it, but it deflected. And then up into the crowd. A minute 43 in the penalty to Paymont.
In the out-of-town scores, Boston and Minnesota are now going to overtime. They're tied at 4 apiece. Quebec and Philly are still tied at 3 apiece. 2-1 Vancouver over Buffalo. Edmonton 4-1 over Montreal. That's in the third period. Calgary 1-0 over Chicago. That's in the first period. Pittsburgh and St. Louis, we have it as 1-1. Someone mentioned that they think Pittsburgh may have scored to make it 2-1. We can't confirm that yet.
Eric fed the puck to Persson, now to Potvin. Danny Potvin to Persson. Played it to Potvin, and it came outside the line. Islanders coasting 7-1. Potvin ahead to Howitt too far. Into center ice, it's Melrose who just tipped it into the Islanders zone. Persson will bring it out. The pass on the right side to Nystrom. Right into a check from Derlego, and the Islanders will have to go back to recover the loose puck. Same time tomorrow night, 7:30 pregame show on Sports Channel. The Islanders and the Maple Leafs in game 2 at 8. Nystrom to Trottier. Ryan Trottier trying to go back to the Leaf goal. Pulls away from Shand into the corner. Now to Nystrom. Nystrom takes up that position to Potvin. Now this is McEwen shooting off the stick of Howitt and into the corner. Nystrom chopping at it. It'll go over the glass and into the crowd. I'll remind fans once more about the Islanders Summer Hockey School. The date's July 20th through September 5th. Be conducted in 2-week sessions. Age groups 7 to 10, 11 to 13, and 14 to 17. Youngsters between 11 and 17, the registration is $150 for 2 weeks. The youngsters 7 to 10 get a 2-week instruction period for $100. You can contact Candiac Arena Manager for further details. Area code 516-934-3501. Excuse me, it's 935-3501 for Candiac Arena. 37 seconds left in the Islander power play as the Leafs have shot it down into the New York Islanders zone. Melanson, who came on to replace Billy Smith. In goal now to Potvin. He gave it to Bourne. Bourne back to McEwen. McEwen turning in his own zone, chased by Derlego. McEwen got away from the check. Now to Potvin. Danny Potvin into center ice to Bossy. Trottier moving with him. Bossy cuts in on goal. Shoots it and went high and wide on the glove side. Everybody pulled away from Bossy. Now here's Bourne coming through in front. His shot deflects wide of the net. Trottier with it back of the goal. Trottier looks for a man. Paymont is back on. Trottier gave it to Bossy. To Bourne. He shoots. He scores. What a machine.
No question. Toronto very inept to leave Bob Bourne, anyone standing that close to the net without anybody near him. And quickly the puck goes to Bob Bourne. Mike Bossy behind the net to Bourne. Nobody is anywhere near him. The goaltender's the closest one. Bourne wraps the puck into the lower left-hand corner. And the Islanders an insurmountable lead now of 8-1.
And number 19, Ryan
12:35 remaining.
7:25.
Toronto should start to try anything to get some momentum. They're going to need it for tomorrow night. They do not want to go off a big defeat if they can help it going backwards. They should be trying to go ahead.
Now Langevin gave the puck to Billy Carroll at center. Carroll got the first Islander goal tonight. He has played well. He, Gillies, and Tonelli. It's hard to find fault with anybody in an Islander uniform. Langevin to Carroll, back to Langevin. Now to Lorimer. Langevin came off the boards, back to Melanson. Langevin takes it behind the net. Less than 12 minutes, just a tick less than 12, as Carroll played it up the right wing, out of the reach of Tonelli. The goaltender, Bunny Larocque, comes out of the net. Plays it to the boards, held in by Billy Carroll to Tonelli. Tonelli centers to Gillies, and he shot it wide. Here's Tonelli in front to Carroll. That was broken up. Laurie Boschman for the Leafs. Sends Hickey to center to Zanussi on right wing. Zanussi shoots it around the boards. Melanson to Lorimer. Ahead to Gillies, who's out on the left side. Mark Gillies at center ice, dumps it into the Leaf zone. Jarris knocked it down. Duras to Robert. Robert, backhand pass. Settlebauer ticked one off the post. The rebound into the pads of Melanson, and he covered up and held on. The puck had come loose, but it was out of the view of the referee, and we got the whistle. There's a break in the action. The score, New York out.
8 goals by the Islanders. That ties a club record in a preliminary round at 8 last year against the Los Angeles Kings.
Now Shan from the face-off rifled one wide of the Islander goal. Nystrom cleared it. Not out they roll. Robert to Duras. His shot turned aside by Melanson. Lorimer gives it to Merrick. Wayne Merrick over to Denny Potvin, who carries it at center. The head to Howard. He's across the Leafs line trying to go in around Shan. And Duras came back to help out. He gave it to Settlebauer and it went off his stick. Loose back to the Leaf goal. Howard with it. Howard being tied up. Took a shot at Duras and now knocks him to the ice. Barry Howard on top of Duras, and we'll get some penalties here.
Could see it coming. Howard earlier threw a check and a punch at the same time. He got away with it. Duras hit him in back of the net. Howard immediately started to flail away at him. I don't think Duras knows yet why, but he got it anyway. Howard jumped on him immediately. Philadelphia now leads 4-3. Here's Gary Howard. Look at that for a left hook. Not bad. Shan wondering what was that all about. And then Duras takes a shot from Nystrom. And as he goes back to his position with Wayne Merrick clearing the puck behind the net to Howard. In comes 24 and hits Howard. Howard just lets go with another left. And then another one.
Gary Howard, 4 minutes for roughing.
Howard gets 4 for roughing. Duras gets 2 for roughing. 10:43 remaining in the third period. The Islanders have ran away with it. 2 penalties for too many men on the ice have put the Toronto Maple Leafs in a very difficult position, insurmountable position as far as the score is concerned.
Just a couple of notes on the concert schedule here at the Nassau Coliseum. REO Speedwagon, April 12th, and Styx, April 25th. Tickets on sale at the Coliseum box office and Ticketron outlets. So the teams at 5 aside, then the Leafs barring further penalties will have a manpower advantage. Langevin unable to get around Melrose. Nystrom with the puck, moving right in. Nystrom to the far corner now. Langevin had been flattened in front of the goal by a couple of Leafs. No penalty. The puck still loose. Nystrom to Langevin. Went to center one that hit Melrose. And Merrick is tied up in the corner. Melrose and Langevin will both go to the penalty box.
Dave Langevin taking a position in close to the net. For the Islanders, it's like a practice. It's fun. See someone like Dave Langevin, he gets in around the net. He wants to get a goal, too. He says, heaven's sake, we've got 8 goals. Why can't I get one? Nystrom was trying to get the puck to him, but couldn't. He and Melrose collide. They both go off. Looks like high sticking.
The Islanders coasting up 8-1. 10 minutes, 10 seconds left. We take another look at the penalties. Pair of 26s.
Melrose and Langevin.
Melrose took quite a slap or slice with that stick.
That's more of a threatening gesture than anything, Jiggs. He's a long way from him, and what he's trying to say to him is, I don't appreciate you or what you've done or what your team is doing to us. Take that. And he doesn't make contact. He couldn't. His stick is not long enough. But they both get 2-minute penalties, so the teams will play at 3 aside for another minute and 25 seconds.
I don't even like the gesture, though.
Well, no, it's understood by most of the players. They know that they're not going to come close with the stick. It's a threatening gesture.
Now the puck behind the Islander goal, and control of it is John Tonelli.
Somehow sticking your tongue out at the person won't really do the job.
Okay. Tonelli at the blue line, tied up by Shan. And this is Turnbull at center. Over the Islander line, Ian Turnbull. The Sittler, Melanson cut that off. Now McEwen starting back. Mike McEwen into center ice. Merrick moving up with him. McEwen over the line. Had a rolling puck to contend with. And then got a ride to the corner and a check from Shan. He ended up on top of McEwen. As the puck comes back to center, it's Sittler. Over the Islander line. Sittler can't get around Lorimer. Melanson back of the goal to Wayne Merrick. Merrick comes to the blue line. Into center. 9 minutes remaining. Merrick is checked. Here's Paymont for the Leafs. Paymont on right wing stops. Back to the blue line. Over to Robert. He shoots one. Melanson the save. Big rebound. He covers up. Paymont came in looking for it, but Melanson able to cover up.
Dennis Potvin was in position for Melanson to pass the puck to him. He's talking to him now saying, should I have yelled? Did you not see me standing off to the side of the net where he should have been? Obviously, Rowley, the goalie, did not see Dennis, hung on to the puck. Brian Trottier has set a new club record, 5 points in a playoff game. It's a new Islander record.
2 goals, 3 assists.
Brian Trottier continues to
They're running out here.
Oh, that just came back. It's going to treat me good, maybe.
This is Morrow for the Islanders, dropping the puck to Denny Potvin. Potvin into center ice. He, Bourne, and Morrow out there. The original minor penalty against Duras has expired, so Toronto now with an extra man. But here's a break for Bourne. Coming right in on goal, Bourne. He scores! He lost control of it. The puck had enough momentum as the Rockets come out of the goal, and it's 9-1.
Even when you're wrong, you're right. Bobby Bourne breaks away. Another perfect breakaway pass. Kenny Morrow this time to Bourne. Away he goes. 21 Salming is after him. But Bourne, in losing the puck, he has it going in the right direction. He missed the puck. Goaltender Buddy LaRocque missed the puck, and that went into the net. As Salming forces Bourne to the backhand, tries to hook it away from him. He got Bourne's stick, but the puck eludes the goaltender. Buddy LaRocque goes right between his feet, goes into the net. The second shorthanded goal of the game for the New York Islanders. Bobby Bourne, his first goal in this playoff. His first shorthanded goal, obviously. Islanders 9-1.
Now here's Robert for Toronto. They're on the power play to Turnbull. Turnbull's shot blocked in front. Cleared right back to Turnbull. Over to Robert. Robert make the shot. Out of Turnbull, and the shot went bouncing off the stick of Potvin. Derlego back to Robert. Robert checked by Billy Carroll. Derlego held it in, shot it around the boards. And now cleared down into the Islander zone with 1 minute and 10 seconds left in the penalty against Gary Howitt. Into the Leaf zone, I should say. On that left wing side, the puck has been cleared to center ice for Maloney. Checked by Goring. Now at center, it's Turnbull across the line. It's a quick shot. Melanson the save, and Morrow clears the rebound. Trottier gave it to Morrow, and again the Islanders clear it the length of the ice. A lot of the folks who are on hand have left as the Islanders are called for offside. We had a sellout crowd, of course, of 15,008. I haven't counted, but it's in the neighborhood of about 6,432 remaining right now.
You could count them that quick, Jiggs. I'm sure your abilities to do that. You're so good with numbers. Brian Trottier, one of the leaders of the New York Islanders. What a game he's had. Set a new club record. 5 points in this hockey game.
Now the Leafs trying to come out of their own zone, led by Shand. David Shand, acquired in the offseason from Atlanta, now Calgary. Gave it to Duras up that left wing side. Pat Hickey put it in front, out of the reach of Boschman, and this is Goring. Butch Goring fires it down into the Toronto zone. It's Islanders 9, Toronto 1. Less than 7 minutes remaining. Zanussi carries it to center ice. Ron Zanussi played it to the corner. Nystrom back to pick it up. Falling against the boards. And Zanussi ran into Lorimer. Zanussi back of the goal in front. Hickey's shot put off Nystrom and wide. And Lorimer ends up squaring off against Boschman. Through the gloves of one another. Everybody heads for neutral territory as they end up on the boards. Bob Lorimer throwing the rights, and it ends up on top of his man. That's the first little scuffle that we've had in this hockey game that has amounted to anything. Be some penalties here at 13:24. The play had moved around the boards, and these two had been back of the net. Squared on. Boschman and Lorimer will head for the penalty boxes.
Did not see how it started, Jiggs. It started right at the corner of the net. Boschman now wants to go after Bobby Nystrom. He had his hands full with Bob Lorimer. I often think that if he'd have put that much zest into the hockey game in the early stages, maybe they wouldn't be behind by 8 goals. It was rather fruitless to put that kind of a show on now. Break in the action. A real break in the action with the score, the New York Islanders 9, the Toronto Maple Leafs 1.
Referee Greg Medill at the penalty box. We watch Boschman skate toward the Leaf dressing room. Face-off will be in the Islanders zone. Al Arbor has to be satisfied, I would think, with the play of his troops tonight. Take another look at how this thing got started a moment ago.
Behind the net, Bob Lorimer and Laurie Boschman. Boschman gives Lorimer a little left jab. Lorimer obviously gets back after him right in front of the... Oh, wow, what a shot. Boschman swung at Lorimer, hitting him on the shoulder pads. That one could have hit him on the head. Oh, he does have a helmet on. And that's where it all got started. That's a rotten shot.
Their finishment of the night. Boschman for slashing, and then a 5-minute major for fighting. Lorimer for roughing, and a major for fighting, called at 13:24. Leafs into center. Zanussi across the line, right into Persson. Now Merrick brings it out. Across the Toronto line to Howitt. Back to Merrick. Knocked it down and just wide. The goaltender Larocque may have got a piece of it. Nystrom knocked down in the far corner by Pat Hickey. Hickey, long pass to Zanussi at center. Tries a long shot off the pads of Melanson. Ends up in the corner to the right. Over to Langevin, off his stick at center. Uris headed it right back to Nystrom. Now to Merrick. Merrick shoots one in off the boards. Larocque will cut it off back of the goal. Shan winding up for the Leafs. Shan over the line. A slap shot went wide on the stick side. Marini to the right wing boards. Pokes it to center. It's going all the way down into the Toronto zone. Shan back to get it, and the Islanders are called for icing the puck.
If you ask the Toronto Maple Leafs right now if they would like to leave and go in the dressing room, you would get 17 players, skaters, and 2 goaltenders say yes, and I'm sure the coach would also say yes. A note, Gretzky, we have Boston lost to Minnesota 5-4 in overtime. Gretzky has 5 assists in the game, where Edmonton leads Montreal. Obviously, they must have 5 goals by now. The last time we said it was 4. It's got to be 5 if Gretzky has 5 assists.
And history made tonight. Minnesota winning at the Boston Garden. First time
ever.
In 14 years.
All kinds of crazy things.
Well, the second season, you never know. First season was fun. The Islanders finished in first place. This game has been fun, but in some other arenas tonight.
Take nothing for granted in the playoffs.
We're still 11 days away from a full moon. This is Gillies to Carroll. Billy Carroll walked right into Marini. Shoots Larocque the save.
Good passing.
Billy Carroll, more and more impressive every night.
Reaction you hear is to the announcement on the matrix board. 5-4 Minnesota over the Boston Bruins. A break in the action with the score, the New York Islanders 9, the Toronto Maple Leafs 1.
Yankee baseball returns to Sports Channel this Saturday afternoon as the Bronx Bombers host the Texas Rangers. Mel Allen has all the action for you beginning at 2:15 with an inside look at spring training. Game time is 2:45. That's the Yankees in Texas this Saturday, only on Sports Channel. Your box seat to New York sports at home. Gillies just trying to thread the needle in the Toronto zone. It came off the boards to Paymont. Will Paymont into center ice. Shot it wide of the goal. Melanson left that for Marini. Around to Gillies on the left side. Mark Gillies tips it. And it'll go all the way down the ice, and Turnbull touches up. Icing against the Islanders. 4:11 remaining. So Minnesota gets a victory in Boston tonight to take a 1-0 lead in that best-of-5 series. Home ice advantage now changes. Minnesota had to win at least one game in the Boston Garden. They have done that. And now they just have to win their home games in order to win the series. Although when you win the first one, you forget about it. You want to go and win the next one. You say, we did it the first time. Why can't we do it again? Let's win them both in Boston. Same time, same arena tomorrow night. Bourne shooting the puck into the Toronto zone, and we'll be right back here with you on Sports Channel tomorrow evening, 7:30 for the pregame, and then, of course, at 8 o'clock, the action in Game 2 of the series. This one hasn't been in doubt since about 4 or 5 minute mark of the second period. The Leafs at the blue line. Shan played it to the corner for Derlego. That's McEwen with it now. Around to Bossy. It came off the glass. Picked up by Trottier. Brian Trottier to Mike McEwen. Now to Bourne on left wing. Into center ice. Mike Bossy given a bump as he ran into Melrose, and the puck is cleared into the crowd. We're down to 3 minutes and 21 seconds left in the hockey game. But time the game's over, the Islanders will undoubtedly have a little fun with Bob Bourne, accusing him of getting the insurance markers, the 8th and 9th goals in the game. Players do that to each other. A year ago, the Islanders ran up the score big on Los Angeles in the first game of that series, and then the next night came back and were defeated at home. Exactly. He's bumped on the boards. Robert in the corner now. Robert put it out in front. They score! Ian Turnbull. 3 minutes remaining, and it came out of the corner in front of the net. The Islanders give up only the second goal against. Toronto trying to do something positive. Rennie Robert, number 14, circles in the corner, passes to Turnbull. He's a defenseman standing in the high slot, and he just deflected the puck by Roland Melanson. Give Toronto their second goal. 9-2 now. 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the game.
And number 26, Barry Melrose. Time of the goal, 17 minutes.
Robert and Melrose on the assist to Turnbull's goal.
At 17 minutes.
Robert taking a pass in the skate, and that seemed to hurt a little bit. He's limping toward the Toronto bench as Kenny Morrow feeds the puck to Langevin, over to Morrow. Now to Merrick. Merrick into center, left side to Howard. It went out of his reach. The rock out of the Leaf net to Zanussi. Merrick stepped in front of him. Backcourt is Melrose. Rink wide for Settlebauer, too far. Kenny Potvin for the Islanders, picking it up in his own zone to McEwen on the left side. Mike McEwen into center. The pass to Gillies. Gillies across the Leaf line, but Nystrom had stepped in ahead of the play and offside. Be a sleepless night for most of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Any that are conscientious enough to want to try and win this series against the Islanders. Think through of all the things that went wrong early in the hockey game. I would have to point, Jiggs, at the 2 penalties that the Toronto team was assessed for too many men on the ice. That's just communications. That's not thinking on the players' part. Of course, we don't know what the coach has said, but players should know beforehand who they're going to replace on the ice. If a centerman goes, the coach usually says so-and-so's line, the centerman of the line, you're up, and you know automatically, but he always assures you of that fact. So when the wingers come, they replace the wingers, and centerman, and the defense the same thing. It's supposed to be foolproof. Well, it wasn't on their part tonight. Certainly wasn't. I remember Boston Bruins playing the Montreal Canadiens a couple of years ago in the finals.
in the 7th game in Montreal, and Cherry was the coach. They had too many men on the ice, Boston, and who else but Guy Lafleur scored.
And that
to
was
win
the series.
That was it. It was all over. One mistake, too many men on the ice.
Now Toronto clearing the puck to Sittler. He and Paymont on a crisscross. Sittler gave it right to Denny Potvin. Now to Goring. Goring shooting it into the Toronto zone, then heads for the bench as Bossy gives chase. Turnbull back to the net. To Paymont on right wing. We've exactly a minute remaining in this first game of the best-of-5 series. Game that hasn't been in doubt. Bossy with the puck at center ice. Now to Carroll. Carroll checked at the blue line. Turnbull on the left side. Ian Turnbull, who doesn't talk to the media, shot the puck into the Islanders zone. Maloney tried to thread one through in front. It came off the boards for Trottier. Trottier shot it high and wide. In quickly as Bossy. Oh, he rifled one wide. Wasn't going to do much as far as the outcome of the game, but it gave Larocque something to think about. 5 across the blue line on the left side. 5 over to Maloney. The pass is up in the air, and he couldn't knock it down. Langevin down. Dave Langevin to Bossy. Relayed it to Carroll. 15 seconds left. Carroll to Trottier. Ryan Trottier over the line on right wing. Back to Billy Carroll. In front to Bossy. Tipped it just wide of the net. Hands counting off the clock. We have 6 seconds left. Into center. Maloney shoots it into the Islanders zone. Melanson holds it up and cradles the puck as he heads for the dressing room. And the Islanders capture game 1 of the best-of-5 series. All over the Toronto Maple Leafs. No contest. The final score, the New York Islanders 9, the Toronto Maple Leafs 2.
The proceeding has been a special presentation of ICENET, the Islanders Championship Entertainment Network.